niggas on the wake up.
With that.
This anthem no more because it's just specifically for LA. But now, you know what I'm saying?
They understand.
They understand.
You gotta hear a little theme
classic.
music.
It's become a classic.
Open up with a little theme music.
It's a classic. It's a classic hip hop record. What other rap record has this many dope MCs on it?
We borrowed this from Sway and Tech. Here we go.
Wake up show classic. I'm pulling with my niggas on the wake up show. We kick a little something for the radio. I'm pulling with my niggas on the wake up show. We kick a little something for the radio. Check it, bust it, tune it up. It's the corrupt novelist, Nas involved in this liveness. Radio wave slaves thrive inside of this wake up show flow. Hip hop's a bomb clock, the bomb spot. Mellow with ganja that makes my eyes turn yellow. See reclined on my level sober. However close to 9 p.m. Joe Chris. I could just see him on the 1 and 2, son. My blunt and full pour the rum 92.3. #1 in the slum representing DJs. Sways the homies, the police the most. What a collaboration. Say I'm calling some this knowledge and I'm born once more.
And the crew, you guys showing up.
Deep in the 9-4. Hip hop slash providence for existence. The 92.3 megahertz will exert radio waves. The slaves from a phenomenal distance.
That wake up show music gets me going. It's the Wake Up Show. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Road to a Million. I'm Daron Campbell. I'm your real estate and sales mentor, and we're headed to the top together. It's a great day. It's a great day to be alive. It's a great day to have an opportunity. You know what? Just by waking up, you know what you got? You got a chance. I love that, right? You have a chance. All I want is a chance. Give me an opportunity, and the rest is on me, right? So you've been granted another opportunity. You woke up this morning, right? Boom, opportunity. How about that? What's up? How do you guys feel about that? You happy with your opportunity? You gonna take advantage of your opportunity? What you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do with it? Today, I want to talk about, hey T, I saw your post. You gotta tell me, you gotta teach me a little bit about what you're doing there. It looks like you trade in some futures, some commodities, some stuff like that. We gotta collaborate. We gotta talk about that. I'm a student. Not particularly I'm not a scholar, but I'm a student. So always learning, always learning. Hey, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to talk about your obligation to the people you serve. Now, what does that mean, Daron Campbell? Obligation? I don't have an obligation. I don't owe nobody nothing. Well, maybe you say that, but maybe you're wrong. So, all right, let's think about this. Morally, ethically, professionally, let's talk about what your obligations really are. Okay? As it relates to the people you serve, or the people around you, or the people in your world, or the people in your life. So let's use a metaphor. If you saw a 2-year-old, a little toddler, innocent toddler as they are, and you saw, it wasn't your kid, just somebody else's kid maybe, and you saw this toddler pick up a very, very sharp knife and start walking around or even running around with it, or a sharp pair of scissors, and then you saw this toddler running around with this sharp knife with these scissors, what would you do? What would you do? What would you know that you are supposed to do? What would you know that your duty, your obligation would be? You wouldn't even think twice, now would you? You know exactly what you got to do. You'd get up, you don't care whose kid that is, you'd go grab that sharp object from that kid and make sure he or she was safe, wouldn't you? Right? Okay, that's because, now why is that? Why do we feel that moral obligation? Why do we feel that code, that ethical code that forces us to do that particular right thing? What is it? Well, we have a moral code, right? We know that if we can take somebody who doesn't know, and that little kid, unfortunately, doesn't sound polite, but that kid is ignorant. The kid is ignorant because he just doesn't know. And that's a good metaphor for us to pay attention to. The kid doesn't know. He's innocent. But that innocence is really ignorance, because he's just too young and naive, because he hasn't had the experience of knowing what a sharp object can do, right? So as the person who has experience in knowing what's dangerous, has experience in knowing what that harm could be in that kid's way, you take your moral obligation, you take your ethical obligation, you take your duty as a responsible, knowing adult to go and intercept something from this ignorant or non-knowing other person and save them from themselves, right? Right. Now, that is a perfect metaphor for the set of obligations that you have to the people that you serve, and the people that you know, and the people that you care about, as it relates to their growth, their life, their proliferation, their safety. Okay, so well, come on, Daron, what are we talking about? Well, this is about work and business. You're supposed to be making me some money here. I am. Pay attention. Here's the thing. If you happen to be blessed enough to be someone in the know, right? So whatever it is you do, you're in the know. Okay, whatever your profession is, you happen to be someone who is in the know. Particularly those of us in the real estate business, we are in the know as it relates to real estate. Now, the people who aren't in real estate, who don't spend 24/7 in our world, what are they? They tend to be the unknowing or the ignorant. They don't know. They don't know what the possibilities are for them. They don't know that that real estate is as accessible to them as it might otherwise be. I mean, they don't know what they don't know. That's the whole thing. It's like the 2-year-old with the sharp object. The kid doesn't know that he doesn't know that thing could stab him in the head and kill him. He just doesn't know, right? How many of your clients do you assume have the knowledge that you have, and so they're going to just wake up one day and figure it out? No, that's not how it works. You don't know what you don't know. And that could be, unfortunately, that could be what keeps you down in life. That could be what keeps your clients unaware and down in life, keeps them from advancing in life, which you have a duty, you have an obligation to inform those that are around you, that whether you know them or not. Those that don't know, you have a moral obligation to inform them of what is good for them. You see, and that translates into dollars in your pocket. You see, if you believe in what you do, and I totally believe in real estate, right? Like with every fiber of my body, I believe in real estate. I know that real estate is the greatest creator of wealth in the history of mankind. You know that? Hey, Cora, hey, Johnny, hey, Tracy. Listen, real estate has created more wealth than any asset class in the history of mankind. More money than any asset class in the history of planet Earth. So we are fortunate enough, Stephen, good morning. We are fortunate enough to have an in-depth knowledge of the asset class that has generated more wealth than any asset class in the history of planet Earth. It is our specialty, right? So what is it that we now owe our people? What is it that we know that we owe everybody? We owe them, our obligation is to inform them of the merits of owning real estate, whether it's that first home, whether it's that investment property, whether it's stepping up to a bigger home, whether it's growing, like they're sitting there with equity and it's stuck in the house, whether it's informing them of what they could do with that equity, whether it's informing them that they can refinance that property and get themselves a better interest rate, get themselves a lower payment, get themselves some equity so they can go and invest it. You know, I once taught a good friend of mine who thought his home, his greatest investment, whatever, was he was secure. He's sitting on that house. It's like, man, I'm paying it down, I'm paying it down, I'm paying it down. And what he didn't know that I taught him was that he could go and pull out this percentage of that equity and we could take that percentage and we could invest it for him in an 8-unit apartment building. And he didn't know, first of all, that he could pull money out. Secondly, he didn't know at what rate he could pull it out. Third, he was scared to pull it out because he didn't know, he just thought it would just be stealing from himself. He didn't realize that he could pull that money out, refinance at a lower interest rate, pull equity out, take that equity, invest it in a small apartment building, have that small apartment building cash flow so that it paid for itself and helped him pay for the house as well. So he ends up getting double benefit from it because the investment with the equity lowered the payment. He went and bought an asset that gave him cash flow, that paid for itself, spun off enough money to also help pay for the house, and suddenly two assets are growing in place of the one. And one asset was actually helping pay for the other. It's paying for itself and paying for the other. Now here's my friend, and you know, what was his sharp object? It was his ignorance. His ignorance was costing him wealth. It was costing him money. It was costing him opportunity. He just didn't know. He was like a kid running around with a sharp object, ready to fall and impale himself. He just didn't know. He couldn't know because he just didn't know. And you don't know what you don't know. And your people don't know what they don't know. So it's your obligation. It's your obligation to tell these people about what they don't know. You see, some people are sitting there going, no, I'm not selling, I'm not selling, I'm not selling. Nope, we're good, we're good. Well, wait a minute. There's a deeper question. There's a deeper question. You're just not selling, see you later? No, it's not over there, people. You're not selling. You've owned it for 15 years. The house has gone up 48% in value. What are you doing with that equity? Nothing. I'm just paying my notes. I'm just paying it down. Has it occurred to you, sir, that you have so much equity that you could refinance that property? You could pull equity out of that property. You could be investing that money in other property. You could buy a rental house right here in this neighborhood. Did you know that you could buy, look, I just told somebody this yesterday. I go, you know, you could buy this property that we're standing in right now, and you know that it rents these properties where I was down at the beach holding an open house, and I said, did you know that you could buy this property for under $2 million, but did you know they rent for almost $9,000 a month? You want to do the math with me? We want to do the math? We did the math, and I said, look, if you bought it, you just bought it, you could cash flow almost $3,000 a month based on this loan here and this equity here and what you say you have the ability to put down. I go, you may not want to live here, but why not just make $3 grand a month in cash flow? He's like, whoa, I didn't even think about it like that. I go, yeah, what is that down payment money doing for you sitting in the bank? Where is it at? What are you making on it? What's your money market paying you? He said 1.4%. I said, good Lord, man, quit giving money away. That money is going backwards on you, okay? You could take that money and you can invest that money. You got to be in the business of helping people shift their thinking, ladies and gentlemen, because you're assuming that they know. And they just don't know. And they don't know what they don't know. And if you don't tell them, they're never going to know what they don't know. Do you understand? Look, we had over 10 years of appreciation in the real estate market. Prior to that, we had a big drop in the real estate market. So a couple of years that were tough, right? But people who stayed in their homes through that trough, through that tough period, came back, and now they're all the way back, aren't they? So nobody really lost money for owning real estate. No one's ever lost money holding on to their real estate. Do you realize that? Some people win and they lose because they get in and they get out, and they panic and they sell in the trough. But the fact of the matter is, all you had to do was hang in there. You don't have to ever be worried about the dip and the downturn and what if I lose money? How are you going to lose money in real estate? Somebody tell me, how do you lose money in real estate? The only way you lose money in real estate is if you sell it when it goes down, and it always comes back. When does it not come back? When has it not come back? So everybody you know ought to be putting every dollar they can into every piece of real estate they can and securing themselves so they never have to sell it. See, the only time you lose is when you sell because you have to sell. Otherwise, you hang on and you always make money. Always, but always. The only reason you ever lose money is you put yourself in a position where you have to sell it. And when you have to sell it, that's a different scenario. You don't put yourself in a position where you can't afford to pay for the property. You don't put yourself in a position where you buy a property that doesn't cash flow if you don't live there. You don't put yourself in a position where you buy a property you couldn't afford in the first place. All of those things create scenarios that make people have to sell. But the fact of the matter is, if you buy real estate and put yourself in a position where you don't ever have to sell, you will always make money. Can anybody deny that? Can anybody show me a situation where if a person just simply held on, they'd be all right? Hold on. So if next time somebody says, well, what if the market goes down? You go, what are you talking about? We have had, oh man, somebody was just telling me this. We have had something like wait a minute, let me see how this worked. We have had something like 13 dips, 13 recessions in the last 100 years. Yeah, I think that's what I'll check my facts on that. But we've had 13 dips, significant dips. I met with a financial planner. He was showing me his charting of the markets. Anyway, we've had 13 dips, let's just call it like that, 13 pullbacks in values, in real estate values in the last 100 years. But each of those periods of time was approximately, on average, just under 2 years. So what does that tell you? Any piece of real estate that you held during a dip, if you didn't panic, you hung on, it always, not sometimes, it always 100% of the time came back and exceeded the value that it had been at prior. Think about this. Okay, listen, I'll give you a great example. My parents bought a house in Chicago, brand new house in Chicago, 30 years ago. Wait, no, what am I talking about 30 years ago? 50 years ago for $24,000, brand new house. They didn't think they could afford it. They stretched, they bought it. Market did this, market did that, market did this, market did that. Who cares, right? The fact of the matter is today, that neighborhood, no matter what dips and valleys and troughs and peaks it went through, here we are 50 years later, and that house is worth about 20 times what they paid for it. 20 times what they paid for it in just this very average neighborhood in this very average area of Chicago. And all they had to do was hang on. All we had to do is hang on. So rather than trying to time things and trying to be a soothsayer and all of this, why don't you just teach people what they don't know? Why don't you tell people what they don't know? And that is, it always comes back. And that is, it always pays to hold on. So if I spend every day, I spend every waking moment in the real estate business, and this is what I do all day, every day, it is my obligation to make people intelligent about the asset class that has created more wealth than any asset class in the history of planet Earth. Why would I not be standing on the mountaintop and informing the ignorant? They need to be buying real estate. And those that have real estate need to be buying more. And if they don't have the capital to buy more, then they need to sell what they got and then buy more. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, our job is to educate the ignorant and teach them to do what they should be doing, but don't know that they should be doing many times. They're running around like a 2-year-old with a sharp object. They're about to impale themselves. They're going to miss an opportunity, and you didn't tell them about it. If they don't step up and buy that bigger house, if they don't stop renting and buy that house, if they don't take that equity and buy an investment property, it's on you because you know they should, and you're not telling them. Wow, I just blamed all of you guys for everybody's problems. I like it. You're guilty. You're guilty. You guys owe your clients. You owe your clients this information. They don't know what they don't know. They don't spend all day in the real estate business. They do their job. They come home and they talk, well, yeah, one day we're going to buy our dream house. Yeah, one day we're going to invest in a house. Yeah, one day we're going to stop renting and buy a house. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. It's your job to push them and say, what are you talking about? What are you waiting for? What are you doing? Do you know that that house that you're looking at for sale and you're like not pulling the trigger was worth $200,000 less just 2 years ago? Why aren't you informing them of this, ladies and gentlemen? You better teach them. You better teach them. You're leaving an opportunity on the table, but more importantly, you are foregoing and forfeiting your obligation to the people you know and serve. And I command you to start telling people what they don't know. I tell you right now, it's time for you to inform the unintelligent. It's time for you to teach the ignorant. It's time for you to tell them what they don't know, because they don't know what they don't know, and you're assuming that they know. Stop it. Stop assuming. What happens when you assume? I never really understood that. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. I don't understand that. I wasn't an ass. You assume that stuff, not me. Anyway, you guys get it? You understand what I'm talking about? So when you try to think of what you're going to say to somebody, you don't know what to say to them on the phone. You don't know what to say to them when you run into them, you meet somebody new at Starbucks or the car wash. Yeah, you know what to say to them. Hey, buddy, are you buying real estate? And you got to say it kind of like a panic. This is what I do, people. They kind of freak out, right? I go, hey, whoa, are you buying real estate? They go, what happened? What are you talking about, man? I go, you're not buying real estate? What are you thinking? Haven't you seen real estate double in the last 5 or 6 or 7 years? Haven't you seen 10 years straight of growth and appreciation? Don't you know that through every recession, the market has come back and exceeded the previous values, even if we went into a recession? Yeah, the market's about to drop though, man. Why would I do that? Listen, don't try to time the market. Don't wait to buy real estate. Buy real estate and wait. Just buy it in a place where you don't ever get forced to sell it, and you cannot lose. You cannot go wrong. Real estate might go down, but it doesn't matter if you don't sell it. You only lose money when you sell it at a loss. And history has proven that all you got to do is hang on to it and you make money. Man, I'm preaching today, ladies and gentlemen. Church is good, because I just dropped some science on you. You're not telling enough people that they ought to be buying more real estate. Whatever they got, they need to be upgrading. Whatever they have, they need to be doubling. You got 2 houses right now. You need 4, Mr. Man. What are you doing? What are you waiting for? Why are you holding up? Let's go. Push it, push it, push it. And I'm the guy to buy it from. You need to buy 2 more properties, and we need to get you on that right away. Let's meet. Can you get together this afternoon? I need to get you into some more real estate. What? I had a buddy once, and he had 7 rental houses in a really great area, Sherman Oaks, California, and he was proud of his 7 houses. And he's like, man, yeah, I got 7 houses. They're rolling. They're doing good. I go, 7 houses? I go, what is wrong with you, man? Why are you going so slow? He said, what are you talking about? I said, 7 houses. Do you know the equivalent of 7 houses? With that equity, you could have like 200 apartments. He goes, huh? I go, yeah, and let me show you what 200 apartments make. And I did the math for him. I said, look, you could be making $14,000 a month in cash flow. I said, how much are those 7 houses paying you in cash flow? He's like, nothing close to that. I go, well, damn, man, let's go. Let me sell you some apartment buildings. I went on and sold him 4 apartment buildings. Bam, and he went to $25,000 a month in cash flow. And I became Black Jesus to him. He worshiped me and still does. So, ladies and gentlemen, tell the people what they don't know. Inform them, because they don't know what they don't know. And if I didn't give you something to go out and talk to people about today, then you weren't listening, because I just dropped some wisdom. Did I drop some wisdom on them? Knowledge. Marlon agrees. I just dropped some knowledge on you, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you got some ammunition to go out and make something happen on this beautiful Monday. Go make some money. How do you make some money? Teach people what they don't know. You already know. Tell them what they don't know, because they don't know what they don't know. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Let's go. Everybody, I'm Daron Campbell. I'm your real estate mentor, and I'm going to see all of you at the top.
Electrons appear to slice through cheeks so you can hear some slum literature. Consider it will numb your eardrum, kid. You're sleeping like a latter day saint, but swaying king take away you up on Saturday. 9 to 12 verbal junkies overdosing Joe Quicks and get your fix to the mix, and then them ghosts win. In your sleep I slap you with the lethal doses of medicine. So wake up with organizing the brethren. King check Joe Quicks better than your last fix. Severing whackness with sway the host dose of fat mix. Baby dogs frontin' so Saturday nights open. Hopping on the 101 time scoping 92.3 degrees. Choking on chocolate and from down smoking. Prince Poe blows up from LA to Hoboken, and I'm out. Yo, it's the wake up show. My genetic makeup take up 130 pounds of beef. But lyrics shake up like January 17th. Crossover 16th. Them seeds is fossil. Protect your neck and wear a bulletproof vest on your tonsils. Amateurs bandage your cornea, cause you don't want to see California. See your